Please get close. We're taking temperatures.
Yeah, probably some names.
Toby Farms Middle School is just that. It is a middle school where children come throughout the city of Chester. They meet at one common ground, which is school.
One of the things about middle schools, there's a perception about middle schools all throughout, the United States.
It's a lot that is going on. It's the rotation of classrooms. It's the dribbling of basketballs. It's the tweeting, the bulk blasting. It's hiding the phones underneath the desk. It's a middle school, and mindfulness is saying, hey, Toby, let's slow down. Let's just take a break to reflect.
So let's just sit here for a moment and see if you can feel the seat against your body. And I invite you to let yourself just be fully here now in a kind, curious way for a moment.
Mindfulness. Going deep into your mind and thinking about something that you probably never thought about before and sorting it out with your own self and making you seem more calmer than ever.
Yeah, there's some movement. Now picture a really calm day, Timia. And picture a lake. Is the water still moving?
Yeah.
Are you back in class?
Yeah.
Oh, you're actually in the classroom with Mrs. McLucky? Girl, do you want to come down to the Mindful Moment room? Because I'm here at school.
Sure. I actually came here late in the school year and had to leave my old school. So coming into the building made me really scared. Like, it's the first day. I don't want to be judged. I don't want to be known as the new girl or the girl that you get to pick on because she's new. So kind of lost, kind of feeling not queasy inside. Scary.
Hi, Tania.
Hi.
I'm Mrs. M. Should we try to just pick up where we left off? We'll do like just a quick guided meditation, see what it's like. You are invited to close your eyes and just making any adjustments. And just like we did before, kind of just feeling ourselves sitting here. And even noticing the ground that's underneath the beanbag, maybe underneath your feet. And as you're ready, I invite you to just become aware of the feeling of your breath. So noticing where in your body you actually feel the breath moving through you. And I invite you to rest in any stillness, any quiet that might be here for you, as you also are aware of the waves. So that's a perfect wave. Can we meet that wave as we let the breath serve us like an anchor, something that's stable that we can touch? Yeah, letting those eyes be slow to open so that you can intentionally, on purpose, let the stillness inside meet all of what's going on in our surroundings. How are you doing?
Good. Better.
So what was that like for you, or what are you noticing now?
I feel more relieved than I was before. Like, I've been nervous this whole time, like this being new to the school and all. Anxiety. Meditation helped me with my anxiety. I have a lot of that, actually. I get scared about some things, or I start heavily breathing from a panic attack, or start being scared that either my friends are going to leave me, or that I may be alone at the end, or I may be nothing in the end. meditation helps me with that, calms me down and puts me back in the right mindset.
I call this a mind jar. So shake it up. If you think about your nervousness, like that glitter, what physical body stuff happens when you get nervous?
I start moving around, like I can't stay still at all. I start overthinking a lot of things, and then I catch a panic attack.
So panic attacks, yeah. So that's intense. So as you notice the water, as you notice your body, and you're paying attention in this way that's just kind, you're just saying, here's what I notice, right? What's happened to the glitter in the jar?
It's starting to fall down.
So just by paying attention and observing the water, you have created time and space for that glitter to drop and settle. It's still there, but it's not taking over, and it's not going to throw you out of whack trying to figure out what to do next, right?
It's like glue and sparkles, okay? It's like a lot of sparkles, and it's amazing. And when I'm upset or like when I'm ready to like just hit someone or just pop off, I just shake the bottle. Who wouldn't want one of those?
When we have thoughts and feelings, body sensations, stimuli of any kind that produces those, this is kind of like what you can think about it looks like in the brain, right? Just information flying around. What mindfulness can do is it can help have us be able to notice the thoughts in a way that's kind and curious. So no judgment needed. And as we do that, the stuff settles.
It took me practicing mindfulness for probably 2 years before I really thought that it was, worth it to fight to have it here at Toby Farms.
For me, it made sense. Mindfulness and what the Carl wanted to do, it all made sense.
Learning that, it actually can change your brain chemistry, like trauma changes your brain chemistry to do things that you don't want it to do. Mindfulness has the capacity to undo that.
So when we've got clearness and we've got some settling, we actually have full power to do more than just react. We have more ability to respond. And responding is skillfully choosing what we want to say or what might need to be done, or maybe not.
Some kids like to keep it by their toothbrush. Some people like to put it on their bedside table. I am planning on meeting with you on Mondays around this time, okay?
Getting the program in Toby Farms in the beginning, it wasn't easy.
Delaware County Advocacy and Resource Organization, also known as DECARO, formerly known as the ARC, is an organization dedicated to serving individuals with disabilities and their families across the lifespan. So the Pennsylvania Developmental Disabilities Council, or the PADDC, awarded us this grant aimed at combating the school-to-prison pipeline, implementing ESCL within Chester Upland School District in 2017. It took some time to roll out in Toby Farms. There's a lot of turnover in Chester Upland School District, so honestly, in parallel to mindfulness, we just had to keep starting again. We had new administration all of the time, so we started over several times. And in 2019, we were able to finally launch. And that meant being in the school, programming for the students and the teachers in the school.
We knew, and I believe that later they found, that this was just an amazing, and continues to be an amazing program for the students at Toby Farms.
Toby Farms was on a roll before COVID. Plans that we had made were working, and things were turning around.
We had just built this beautiful mindful moment room.
I was able to finally get some small groups going with the help of the school counselor and identify some one-to-one students that would be ideal. There was a way to have students come in and use this room sometimes, even just to kind of build some relationship and some feeling of safety with me, which was key then in being able to introduce mindfulness to them and have them try something.
And we had students that wanted to take the lead and be ambassadors and share their growth and their ideas in regards to how mindfulness has been beneficial for them.
You see a change in the students' behavior, how they interact with each other. I know our statistics as far as our discipline data has dramatically, decreased.
We were really in a good place, and things were really starting to come together. We were showing growth, and then everything sort of just, like, we hit a wall.
Meanwhile, the Chester Upland School District is postponing its return to in-person classes. In-person learning was to resume tomorrow. Instead, all classes will remain virtual until further notice.
The pandemic, has uprooted all of us, and I'm not allowed, or I wasn't allowed to be in the building for a long time. None of us were in the building.
We had to pivot, course correct, like everyone else, and move to virtual.
Basically what happened is, they talk about the achievement gap, but there was a technology gap.
Since we didn't have a whole lot of technology to begin with, training teachers to use it was not really a priority all the time.
Here we go.
I can't hear y'all. Something wrong.
Still there, Raphael?
Internet connectivity has been an issue.
I'm having trouble hearing you.
I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Attendance has been a challenge.
So we'll give it a few minutes to see kids start coming in. Evan. 7-3. So 7-3, according to this.
No, I do not have her right now.
All right, so I'll hang up, okay? Val, are you able to go to a place in your house where it's a little bit more quiet?
That is so frustrating.
Some of the classrooms now became closets, bathrooms, back porches, living rooms, wherever it may have been. And I think there were a lot of obstacles with that. I mean, not every student wants to have their computer open and so that other people in the classroom are looking in their living room or looking at the space where they're learning from.
It's just that you have to turn on your cameras constantly. If you don't, you get kicked out of class or you get rolled up or in trouble for it. When sometimes you can't turn on your cameras because of certain situations, or you can't turn on your volume because of certain situations, and they're just gonna keep going at it.
We made it!
Yeah.
Well, let's picture yourself on the boardwalk then. Can you picture yourself on the Atlantic City boardwalk for a moment?
Yeah.
So picture yourself looking out at the ocean. Just watching the waves of the ocean. Can you picture it at all?
Yeah.
Waves in the ocean are like life.
Wait. Did you say waves are like life?
Yeah.
I mean, kind of. Yeah. I like sometimes things go like a smoother. Sometimes things go like a crazier sometimes.
Yeah. Totally. There's smooth parts of life, right? Like this conversation's pretty smooth.
Mm-hmm.
But then we have other things happen or other things that we're doing in life where it's a little rougher, or like you said, a little crazier. Maybe some bigger waves, more intense waves.
Well, Nathan is a very nice child. He's very quiet, but he can be talkative. He's very helpful. He loves to help. He loves to do his work. Like when he do good, he gets so excited. But I feel like COVID really made him struggle with school, because being on that computer, it was just rough.
Like, if I didn't have school, I'd probably be so not stressed out. So the hopes that are in my future is that school can go back to a normal. Even though I hate school, but I'd rather be in person than online, because I like to see my friends.
Anybody ever been to the Mindful Moment room?
No, I ain't been to the room. You need to be coming to Mr. Lima class.
Okay. Well, it's good to be with you, okay? And I've been teaching mindfulness again this year virtually when Mr. Sands was here for the first part of the year before we went hybrid. And now I've been continuing to teach, right? So this should be our 4th lesson together. I don't know if you guys were all here last Tuesday, if you were here in person or if you were on the computer. We're going to practice mindfulness, and we're going to be mindful actually of our thoughts in the practice. So to help me out, to show you what I mean, I brought some bubbles.
I feel like this program,
you're welcome,
helps the kids get to know who they are. Some people don't do that at all because they don't have the opportunity to, because no one asks them, how are you feeling?
Take a look and see what you observe. Noticing whatever you can about the bubbles.
I go to therapy. I've been in therapy for over 10 years, and my therapist tells me every time I talk to her, did you meditate today? I tell my son to do it all the time.
So what did you notice?
Some are big, some are small.
Some are big, some are small. I'm repeating for the people at home.
Some pop right away, some last longer.
Some pop right away and some last longer.
Connected together.
Bubbles joined together?
Yeah.
Yeah, so there could be bubbles attached to other bubbles. So my question for you is, how are bubbles and thoughts similar?
Some can be the same size.
I'm just going to call on this gentleman because he raised his hand. Nathan.
Some thoughts like they pop and the bubbles.
Some thoughts pop and the bubbles pop. Thoughts are not permanent. They come and they go, okay? And with practice, especially mindfulness practice, we can actually learn how to notice our thoughts, watch them, maybe even notice patterns to our thinking, and we can let them go. We can let them pop. And that way, my friend over here, we don't have to follow our thoughts. Seriously.
Mindfulness is an all-inclusive program. It's a program designed for everyone, no matter where you are. It's a very simple practice that anyone can do.
Nothing about it. Heard. Right here, Carol. It's a little messy. Crystal is a sweetie pie. She was so excited to go back to school. I'm gonna use this mallet. It's called a mallet, and I'm gonna just strike the vibratone. Can you remind me again of how mindfulness helped you improve the drawing from how you normally draw the Pokemon?
It helped me because I usually draw the tail of Pikachu's tail up. I usually draw it very big, but it's supposed to be small.
So let's practice some more, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome if you want to hold my friend here, okay? He's got a heart because he's really kind. So you're welcome to make yourself comfy any way you want, letting yourself settle a bit. And I invite you to notice your body right now. Check your body for any spots that might be.
I spy with my little eyes. Hey, Aya, what do you spy with your little eyes? Oh, you spy with your little eyes at the green? A red? So that's shopping cart.
I have 7 siblings, plus means 8. We have 2 dogs, 1 cat, 2 guinea pigs, 2 bearded dragons, and we have food for the bearded dragons. We have bugs.
Did that look pretty to you? Is it just to me? Those trees are so pretty.
I can't concentrate with my sisters because they make a lot of noise.
Taking a walk again.
Everywhere I go to, they follow me.
So when we take a break, we're gonna eat these tacos.
Yeah, I had to get a new one because mine had ants in it.
Yeah, and we don't eat ants. Cheers! Cheers!
Wait, again. Wait.
Cheers! It's a beautiful day to take a walk. Right, Cece?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful day, right?
You wanna go to the popsicle?
So those were some leaves. You might also notice, and I don't know if you were here for every lesson or not, that one part of your brain might feel more on than another part. What does the amygdala give us the power to do when it turns on because it notices something big is happening? Big thoughts. So we fight, flight, or freeze. That's typically what we're doing a lot because we often have these thoughts. We have big thoughts that either hang around a long time or they're like right there, right? And we have feelings attached to our thoughts or something big is going on in our body. There's more that we can do than just use the amygdala. You may notice that after meditation, you feel calm, you might even feel sleepy, a little too calm, right? But if you feel focused, like you said you did, because you could hear sounds really clearly, you said that it was enjoyable for you, that's a sign that this part of your brain is on. That's called the prefrontal cortex, or the PFC for short. So your hand model of your brain looks like this. Here's your amygdala, if you want to make it with your own hand. Put your thumb inside, right in the middle of your brain, the amygdala, fight, flight, freeze. This turns on anytime something big is going on. And this is the part, cover your fingers up over your thumb. This is your PFC. This is where your forehead is, right behind your forehead, this part of your brain. This is the complex, sophisticated part of the brain that does all the thinking. When the amygdala is on, alert, 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 amygdala is on, keep you alive, fight, flight, freeze. We flip our lids, we lose the PFC. You cannot think. You cannot make real choices. It's not actually possible. So you know the adults who say to you, make a good choice, make a good choice, or choose this. If you're fighting, flighting, or freezing because you've got big thoughts or big feelings, big body sensations, something big's going on, you can't choose. You've got to do something, okay, to get your PFC back, okay? Or you will only be reacting. You will only be staying alive. Does that make sense? The easiest way to do that is to use mindfulness, some way of being in the here and the now of the bigness. Find your breath and let your breath guide you. Find the stillness and the quiet that's inside you. It's not going to take away the situation, but you will take in the situation in a different way, and you'll have your PFC so that you can actually choose your words and choose your actions.
The thing with my role as a mindfulness teacher here, a big part of it is to give the students agency, to empower them to be able to listen deeply to themselves. I don't know how to say this, but just, you know, I'm in this school and I'm white and I'm a person of privilege. There are ways that I don't feel quite qualified to be this teacher for them. You know, it is out of my control. And my role here is to really be of support in any way I can.
You know, during a lot of COVID, there were a lot of inequities. There were a lot of things that our environment, our communities, and some of our schools in the urban setting, we weren't prepared for. And our students didn't have that equal access.
Chester Upland School District, no question about it, from the history of it all, got an unfair shake.
What's going on, everybody? How you feeling, man? It's Uncle P, man. I'm live from Cultivate Mature Positivity Studios, man. You already know. I have a great guest today. So listen, Chester Upland is going to court, right? Trying to figure out what's going on with the receiver. I don't understand what's going on, right? I have Miss Nicole Cogdale hit me up. Miss Jean Arnold hit me up, and they like, Pierre, listen, we need to know what's going on. You need to tell everybody and explain to everybody what's going on. So I said, okay, no problem. Who am I supposed to talk to? So they hit me up and they said, listen, we want you to talk to Mr. Michael Churchill. He's a lawyer.
Yeah, the problem right now is that people essentially are throwing up their hands at how to provide education in Chester and saying, well, let's turn Chester schools over to private parties.
Folks, what has history taught you? Did you read your own history lesson that you taught that says those who do not study history are bound to repeat it? We are educators. Have we not educated ourselves sufficiently to be able to manage ourselves well? Wise people do not continue to make the same mistake over and over and over again.
Chester Upland School District has been a victim of racism, entrenched inequities for decades. It is racist by design and by policy and by history. So in school districts like Chester Upland that are low wealth school districts where the state has not adequately funded the schools, you can have decades of children who have not received a quality education. You don't have the investments in the infrastructure, in the school buildings. You don't expand preschools. You have overcrowded classrooms. Instead of having 25 in a class, you have 30 to 32 in a class. You can't offer the same curriculum. And we find that you don't have enough school counselors or school nurses that are so critical for children. So children, because of the lack of educational opportunity, you then see these poor educational outcomes, as we have seen in Chester Upland and other school districts that are low wealth and that don't receive the targeted funding they need to serve their children in the schools.
As a parent, now, we were in the same situation when we were a child. So we didn't know, and to be honest, half of us still don't know how to change what is going on because our parents didn't know. And if you take it back to their parents, then their parents, now you end up in about that 60s when they was going through that segregation.
Chester students matter. Chester teachers matter. Chester teachers matter. Chester teachers matter. Chester teachers matter. Education matters.
This is an American problem. We have to do better, Pennsylvania. We have to do better. It's about our kids and their suffering. It's always about self. We have to get ourselves out of there. It's about them. We gotta listen to them. Wake up. We need to wake up. We need resources. We need to be more trauma informed. We need more mental health going in. I am someone, I'm trying to learn, I wanna learn. I wanna be someone.
They really don't allow communities like ours to have better teachers, more books, more fundings because of the geographical kind of makeup of it all.
Even when Brown versus Board of Education was first came out, Chester Upland School District did not comply with it, and it filed 4 appeals challenging desegregation of its schools.
Most of our parents were overcrowded and cooped in one school, while a lot of those who were white stayed in schools that had more resources. Everything that they needed in order for them to succeed. Meanwhile, our parents were still dealing with, lack of heat, and then some of them didn't even have enough proper seating. At that time, they were protesting, they were marching to be able to receive the same, resources and the same things that we're asking for, more funding.
We're still allowing for the perception that if you're poor in this country, if you're black and brown in this country, if you're white and poor in this country, you are less than, and therefore we can't do what we want to you when we want to do it. These are our schools. These are our children. These are our teachers. This is our system, and we say no.
Once the judge ruled and said, okay, everything should be then integrated, everyone should be receiving the same quality right to education. Those who were living in Chester, who were white, they up and left. They took everything, businesses shut down because they held that power in the city of Chester.
They allowed parents of white children to transfer out of the school district, but prohibited black children from doing so.
I felt like our parents were just left with, well, what do we do? Where do we build from? That it migrated to us. Now we're trying to figure it out for our kids.
We know that segregation still exists, because what's going on in Chester Upland School District is not happening in Swarthmore, it's not happening in Chichester. And these are all areas that we can literally reach out and touch.
The state significantly underfunds Chester Upland School District. We have the lowest state share of anywhere in the nation. We're currently 44th of 50 states in terms of state contribution to education. That means that we are disproportionately overly reliant on local property taxes. In Chester Upland School District, they actually tax twice as much as the average, and yet are able to obtain $3,000 per child locally that goes to their school. Compare that to a Radnor school district, where they are actually not taxing as much, and yet they're able to generate $23,000 per pupil in local funding alone.
I have many are here because they want accountable school systems that do right by our kids? That's why we're here. Our kids deserve to benefit from a fair funding formula and giving locally controlled schools a fair shot at making it work. And being accountable.
And so that's where Chester is right now, treading water on some difficult currents that are pulling at us in many different directions. I don't think the district probably has ever been in this place before. My concern about us being successful has never been this high.
Are you looking for somebody in particular?
I'm told that Raphael.
I have no sound. If you want to put it in the chat.
Okay.
Oh, there he is. Raphael, we've been waiting for you.
Raphael, it's Mrs. M, and I'm in.
My dad was something.
Okay, it's Mrs. M. I'm in the mindfulness room. Can we go into a breakout room and do some mindfulness together?
Sure.
All right, I'm joining. Thanks, Mr. R. Hey, how's it been? I haven't seen you in a while. I wanted to see if you could do a little brief mindfulness with me, get some practice in, so that you can see how it might affect you in your life. So why don't you pick a position where you're good? You can get comfy, you want to be awake, relaxed, and just getting yourself gradually to notice yourself sitting here. If you could focus your attention for a moment on your belly, just see if you can feel your belly rising and falling without working. Now you might notice boredom. You might notice your mind wandering. I want you to congratulate yourself when you notice you're bored or wandering, and then just come right back to the here and the now.
The things I appreciate, love, and enjoy, the thing I appreciate is that my family loves me and they appreciate me, and I appreciate them for all the stuff they've been doing for me. What I love doing, I love playing video games. And what I enjoy, also playing video games. And going outside. And playing with these rats. This year, it was very tough for me. I really dislike COVID-19 because it made me and my friends apart from each other, and it also made my favorite teachers be apart from me as well. The only thing I dislike about school is how they teach you things way above a lot of levels. Math and geography. Things that were way too long ago that I really don't understand and I never will. And in math, there's too many equations, x's, pi's. I don't like to learn sometimes. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I got bullied by almost everyone in the school. Sometimes they didn't get caught for the actions. They only did it when the teacher returned back because they were too scared to do it in front of the teacher, you could say.
My brother is Raphael. I usually watch him, make sure he doesn't skip classes.
It's okay being a big brother. It's kind of awesome.
Mindfulness helped my brother. He seriously goes in our room, goes on the top bunk, and crosses his legs, and then closes his eyes, and meditates.
Sometimes I get depressed, I would like to say, but not all the time because I'm a very, fun child and everything. And when something goes wrong, my heart just stops pumping and pumping and pumping, and then I get really petrified. It's like an ocean wave. When something hits, it makes a big tsunami in your brain. But once you do mindfulness, it cools it, just to make not a normal wave, but a straight line. When something goes wrong or something, I just meditate in my room alone.
I think he gets really calm.
Nothing to prove.
and nothing you actually need to do except let yourself be. And as we start to end this practice, remembering that choosing to rest like this on purpose might be a huge act of self-kindness. Raphael really expressed to me very early on that the mindfulness practice was helpful for him.
It felt really good about my body muscle and my face muscle. It all lowered down very much to where nobody can bother me.
Wow, that's pretty powerful. And I just want you to know, you know this, but I want to just underline it. People might still bother you.
My dad and my sister were just bothering me a few minutes ago.
There's always going to be a problem, and there's always some type of solution. It's just a matter of which part of our brain and body is picking the solution.
What mindfulness has been doing is showing students that you have options, that you're just not stuck in this play mode. You can reset, you can rewind, you can fast forward, but there are so many different steps that you can take and strategies that you can utilize to help you deal with the circumstances. Circumstances might be a conflict with a student. Circumstances might be the environment that you just came from, something that may have happened at home, the loss of a job, of a parent, and now, the stress that is at home, and now you're coming in and you have all that stress because you're living through the stress of your parents. There's so many day-to-day things that our students deal with that's luggage and baggage that's holding them back.
So just coming more and more into this moment, making yourself comfortable. You're welcome to lean back, whatever you need. And just feeling the seat underneath you. Noticing maybe how it feels against your body.
I actually left my mom recently, and I'm living with my grandmom until my dad gets a place to live.
You're invited to simply watch the waves of your own breath.
I was questioning my sexuality a few years back. It affected my mindset because I started thinking more about the situation than the schoolwork, and I started not doing more of my schoolwork and started dropping my grades and started not going to classes, didn't want to leave my room, didn't want to eat, and didn't want to drink anything. I just wanted to stay in my room. And it's like not good when you don't feel safe in your own world, that you can't even walk to school and it's right near your house.
So thinking about how you can watch the waves go in and out, and you're invited to ride them. So really feel them as you inhale, feeling yourself expand, and as you exhale, feeling yourself contract at your own pace. And as you do this, you're free to wander from your breath. And then as you notice you wander, you just simply return when you're ready.
I couldn't. I wasn't thinking at the moment. I was actually kind of terrified because she put me in the hospital the last time and my dad had to come get me. You're going to go to the hospital because you have anger issues and you seem trouble. You might need to go to a psych ward. You might need to go to a mental hospital because you have troubles. You might need to be put on medication because you have troubles. When I don't need to be put on or in those things because I'm not troubled at all.
With all the challenges we face, that choosing to rest like this might be a huge, a radical even, act of self-kindness. And that if you'd like to offer yourself a bit more kindness, a bit more self-care, maybe even compassion, so just repeating in your own mind, may I be safe.
May I be healthy. May I be content and free. May I be at ease.
I get mad like everybody else. I get upset like everybody else. Not tough. I'm not weak. I'm not gonna say I'm strong either. But I am emotional. I cry a lot. I'm sensitive.
And if there's anyone that you'd like to send those wishes of kindness to, you're welcome to do that too, just repeating in your own mind. Picturing this person if you'd like to, or it can be yourself again. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you be content and free. May you be at ease.
When I started meditating, it felt much better. I started feeling less insecure about myself. Started saying things aren't my fault because some things aren't, and that I can work on things that are my fault.
All right, my dear, thank you. I hope you have a really good week.
Thank you. Why I think people don't want to try mindfulness because they're not in that mindset. They're, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know what this is, or I'm afraid that it's just going to be overwhelming. It's not going to be good for me. I think different is good.
Anything that actually gives you the power to be able to say, I'm not accepting this, is crucial. I want a different outcome, so I'm going to do whatever I can that I have control of to get that different outcome.
I have seen mindfulness programs be real game changers for children. And I think in Chester Upland School District, it provides a strategy for children to deal with some of the trauma that has impacted them. But also, you have to remember that you have a school where you have overcrowded classrooms. You've got 32 kids in a class, and you don't have enough staff in order to address the needs of those students. So you're more likely to use school discipline measures in your classroom than if you're adequately funded.
Law enforcement has been used for a very long time, especially in the city of Chester, with discipline. See, back then when I was younger, they used to go around with the paddy wagons, you know, when they put you in the van. You know, I always wondered why, when we were young, they didn't just try to find our parents besides taking us straight to the police station and then going through all of that, and then you end up seeing a judge, and then it's like then you're young and you get subjected to that at a very young age. Then it's like you get used to just being exposed to that contact to law enforcement. I never understood why is it that law enforcement was even used in a punishment way.
I remember, you know, when I first came in to visit one day, I mean, many years before I got here, it was a police car out front, and they were helping, assisting with dismissal of school. And I was like, well, why are the police in the school helping assist with dismissal? But to me, that told me, when I see that, I think of a police state. I think of exactly what we were talking about trying to fight. It's like, that can't happen.
So the school to prison pipeline are really policies and practices whereby school children are more likely to be diverted to a juvenile justice system and a criminal adult system. Disproportionately, this impacts Black and brown children. It starts in preschool. You are 6 times more likely to be suspended and expelled in preschool if you are Black than if you are white. You're more likely to be punished because of a code of conduct that is subjective.
The school to prison pipeline, I don't see school to prison as pipeline. I see school to college pipeline. That's the pipeline that I see. As long as you're fair and consistent, the young people want to be disciplined. I hear people talking about feeling sorry for our youngsters, and I believe this, that we can educate our youngsters to college or career, or we can hug them to jail. And many of our youngsters are being hugged to jail, and that frustrates the heck out of me. I don't need these young folks, I don't need friends. I need students. That's how I see them. I see them as students.
Behavior is communication in all ways, shapes, or forms. So if a student is acting out in class and they're not giving you a hard time, they're trying to tell you something. Students should not have to earn their right to an education or sit in a classroom.
You have a security guard who will call a police officer because two people are getting in a fight. The officers don't make it better because they're not de-escalating it. They come in and throw you in handcuffs. They're tasing you. You're 14, you're 13, you're 12, you're even 9, 8 years old going through that.
When they're in a system where they're trying and they're doing the best that they can with what they have, and it's still backfiring against them, you know, that's exhausting, it's demoralizing, and then it's like, why bother? And oh, well, I'm already considered this way anyway, so maybe I should just go with that.
When you expel a student, they start hanging with the wrong people who aren't in school also because of where they went at too, right? So they all just start hanging together. We got a lot of kids hanging out that ain't in school. Because why? They've been expelled and suspended. They don't have to go to school. They done turned 18 now, so it's all up to them. It's out of the parents' hand. It's a cycle. Because we know their life is over after that. We know. 9 times out of 10, they're not going to make it. By putting a child out of school and letting him run the streets. And they say, well, what do we do with them? We can't continue to eliminate stuff that we know are working to invest in our children. I believe that more money for the Chester Upland School District went with administrators and people than it did with the children.
Like my first year teaching at Chester High, I lost 5 students to gun violence. I have to highlight the fact that there's a very strong community of Chester residents who graduated from Chester High and go back and work at Chester High so that the students feel that love, they feel that connection. Homecoming is one of the grandest things here in Chester because it's so many people that was taken away from this home that we have to, I'm sorry, I gotta feel myself getting emotional. We have to be able to do that. Sorry. And again, this is the direct trauma, you know? So imagine teenagers who can't really identify these emotions. It's easy for them to get caught up in the street because the streets are always going to want you, you know? They're always going to accept you. It doesn't matter if you're smart enough. It doesn't matter if you got the nice clothes. It doesn't matter who your mom was or what she does, you know? It's always going to be an outlet for the negative. So because we know that, it's up to us, the adults, to make sure it's an outlet for the positive.
7, 6.
I watch a lot of videos of like pro boxers and stuff. So I decided like I want to do boxing. It's fun and it gives you something to do instead of being home and keeps you in shape. The ring, I like getting in the ring a lot. My heartbeat like go fast when I'm in the ring. It feels nice. Like that ring is yours. If I'm in the ring, shadow boxing, I think about the things I can like do better, and then I fix it. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's a lot to go to school and try to be who you are. You got so many different personalities and kids trying to keep up and getting picked on.
But sometimes the work be hard. If I think I found something and I tell my teacher and she says it's just wrong and just keep saying it's wrong over and over, that's what makes me mad. But I don't fight with my teachers no more. They don't deserve for a kid to be talking to them like that. They gotta deal with other kids that just sit there and talk over them. The teacher get mad and the kid won't do what the teacher says probably.
When I used to be in school, if I got in trouble, we used to have detention. After school, we would have to sit in the classroom, probably write whatever on the board. Now, if my son gets in trouble, it's like, oh, he's suspended. I'm like, geez, Louise, like, what is the suspension for? I don't feel like they really look at the child. You're not in a situation, like you don't know what's going on. So like, it's a reason for everything. We get up and eat, why? Because our stomach tells that we're hungry. We don't just eat, we eat because we're hungry, you know? If a child is sad, they're sad for a reason. They fail because we don't help them. The school can really do better.
Chester Upland School District is emblematic of a deeper problem in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, which is that we don't have a goal of fully funding our schools. And our current school funding system is irrational, it's inadequately funded, and it's highly inequitable. And we need to change that. We were one of the last states in the country to adopt a fair funding formula in 2015. And that recognized that school districts like Chester Upland, with high concentrations of poverty, need additional money. But the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, the General Assembly, decided that it would not apply to all of our basic education funding. And in fact, today, it only applies to 11% of basic education funding. So the majority of money is distributed the old way, without accounting for the needs of children. And that's why the children who need the most receive the least.
The school has been vulnerable for over 20 years. Nobody came to help us, right? But somebody came coming to take it over. It's really crazy, right? It seemed like the assistance of taking it over has been great.
The current state of this school district is now in the path of literally being sold out. See, at the other times when I was a child, when it was under receivership, they would just shut the schools down. But now it's to the point where it's like, privatize it all out. Just end it. Shut the whole city down.
So we have a system in Pennsylvania, as in other states, where we identify financially distressed school districts. And Chester Upland School District, York School District, a few others have been on that list. In Chester Upland's case, the school board itself recognized in 2012 that it was in financial distress and it needed the state to take over. So a receivership matter is when the state steps in order to manage the school district. And actually the school board only has the right to tax and levy. They have no other rights when the matter is in receivership.
As a receiver, I sit in lieu of the school board. And the superintendent reports to me. I am responsible for the implementation of the recovery plan, and it's a lot for one person. School board has 9 people. Receiver has 1. However, it is great when you go to a board meeting. There's 1 vote. And that's the receivers.
The ultimate goal remains to have Chester Upland School District remain viable and remain educating students within its jurisdiction. So that's actually the ultimate goal of a receivership matter. It's not to decimate the school district. It's not to sell it off to the lowest bidder. It's actually to ensure that you are building up a future for the children in those neighborhood schools.
We've been under state control for 25 years, but in receivership, I think, for 10 of those years. And I think it's depressing for a community to be in receivership. It's a tough place to be. It's a tough place to be.
A part of that financial recovery plan, it was written that one of the initiatives that the district could explore is given educational management organizations or charter management organizations the opportunity to bid to provide services to our schools, so to manage our schools.
And as a part of that, we could also consider charterizing if that's what I chose to do.
Charter schools, very, very importantly, are public schools. They're local education agencies authorized by school districts, but they are operating independently of the school district. They can have a different school code. There's some laws that they are exempt from with regard to teacher qualifications and different issues. We also have something that are charter management organizations, and those can be for-profit entities. And they can come in and take over, and there are very little laws that apply to them.
Right now, presently, I'm on the jail oversight board, right? And our job is to deprivatize a prison that is private, which is the George Hill Correctional Facility. So my feelings is mutual of how I feel about what they're doing in Chester Upland School District, no doubt about it. When it gets into private, people are worrying more about the money than they're worrying about the children.
Are you here because to help poor little old Chester, or are you here because you know that we are a gold mine?
That's the power that the charter schools have over communities like Chester and Philadelphia. The lack of funding, the poverty. It's like a reoppression.
If you really care about the black and brown kids in my community, in Chester and Darby and Gaydon and all these other black communities in Delaware County, give us what you have. Give us the proper funding. Give us the proper infrastructure. And so our message here is for our elected officials, especially our local elected officials. Please don't sell us. Especially if you care about black and brown kids. Please, fund our public schools. That's what we want from you guys. Fund our public schools.
Girl, don't put no one above you. And I'm just
Hey y'all, hey. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is The Power in Us, The Power Unapologetically Speaking.
Power is having someone listen to you and on occasion do what you say. And so if we say education is power, America would not have passed laws for us to have free education in the early part of our lives if it wasn't advantageous to somebody.
I believe knowledge is power, which makes me think there should be more transparency so that people could get the knowledge so that they could have some power.
The judge overseeing what we're doing has requested very vigorously that the district publish all of the proposals that have come in, that the district invites, provides for the public to participate, and we have not done that.
As far as education is concerned,
yes.
Students, adults, send an email to the receiver. Yes, I'm putting him out there. Fill his email box with your correspondence.
We have to rally the parents, come together, making a change, making a difference, getting power.
No one has seen the full proposals yet, except for the task force, who is going to make decisions and a recommendation to the receiver. This coming week, there will be a meeting on May 6th where those 3 providers will come in and answer questions from the public. The problem is none of us have seen the full proposals. We have seen only summaries of which schools they intend to take over. So we have a lot of questions.
Tonight we will hear from the 3 organizations about their proposals and their vision. This will be your opportunity as the Chester Upland School District community to ask your questions about the proposals and their impact on the education of our students.
We presented a proposal to begin first with the Upland Chester School of Arts and then the Toby Farms Intermediate School.
The state law says that if a charter school is going to take over a district school, they must do 2 things. First, they must prove that their academic outcomes will be better than what is currently provided to children.
You guys are actually scoring at 12% proficiency in math, 36% in English. So that actually tells me that the students in your school is scoring a below year-to-year academic improvement. When in Pennsylvania average, the students are at 45% proficiency in math and 60% in English. And you also stated you guys wanted Stetzer? Yes. Okay, Stetzer is also scoring higher proficiency in math.
Many of the things that we do well as an organization are difficult to capture on a standardized test. We know that there are more than those numbers.
Thank you. I actually asked that question because that's why we're under receivership.
What we have to realize is that the numbers equal money. The more amount of students in the building, more money. The more amount of special ed students in the building, triple the money. So that's what the numbers aren't showing. The numbers aren't showing that for this one student who has been in special ed for 3 years, probably is operating way better and is misdiagnosed. She's not going to get off that list because they make X amount of dollars off of her being in that program.
Second, it has to occur at a cost savings to the district. It is unclear at this juncture whether there will be any cost savings to the district. You have to find out through those detailed proposals what costs will remain with the district and what costs are the charter schools taking on. Because what we have now is selling off parts of a school district to the lowest bidder.
Well, we're going to talk about purchasing your two oldest buildings. With this proposal, right, we're going to save the district millions of dollars. Not only will we purchase the buildings, so you make a profit, however, then we were going to build two brand new buildings, and you see a rendering right there. Well,
our proposal is the only proposal which would save the district significant amounts of money because we're significantly lowering the district's rate. Our proposal is the only one that would give the district brand new schools.
Questions for Chester Community Charter School? If you'll come to the, oh boy.
Question. We will not be enamored, excited by shiny. We have had receiver after receiver leave us worse off than we were when they came.
Fair market value of Main Street schools, $2.628 million. Why would the district even think about only giving $1 million for that property? The district also received upwards of $34 million from the American Rescue Plan. Why would you turn over the schools now when there's an infusion of funding to fix some of our public schools?
I have been on both sides of the Chester Community Charter parent, and I've also been an employee.
right.
The teacher assistant part of it was, I was in a classroom with 7th and 8th graders who were reading on a 4th grade level, but passing a PSSA test. So I'm gonna move on, because I'm gonna just give you that to ponder on.
I do know that we spend $3 million every month during the school year to your school, sir.
The unfortunate thing here, I'm not able to answer your questions.
I didn't expect, sir.
I want to. What about all these other school districts that build new buildings?
Sir, you don't understand architecture.
So where does their choice go once the takeover happens?
Okay, that's a good question. Yeah, it is, but
if I don't want my child to go to a charter, where do they go?
Look at the, look at the judges.
We may be small in numbers in this room. We may be small in numbers on that Facebook and on that Zoom. But guess what? We are strong.
it's real. If it were not for that, I would not be here. And I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe it's more about finances than anything. So nobody's saying that the curriculum that you guys are failing. We just want to introduce something and make it better, that's all.
So one thing that I do agree with you is that this is about money. The businesses and corporations that are here tonight is because education is lucrative business. So all of you, I think, spoke of not dismantling our public schools, yet all spoke of, quote unquote, serving the communities that need it most. So you all basically agree that what you do is racialized dismantling of public schools.
Since literally 2011, I believe, you guys have been audited plenty of times for misappropriations of funds.
That's not, ma'am, that is so not.
We have signed an additional 9-year contract with you guys, and you're underperforming. I am a mother, and it's just very disheartening that you guys will now want to come in and try to get more of our kids, and you're already not educating the ones you got.
Okay, I got it. Okay.
This is a big problem here, and we need another charter school like we need a hole in our head.
What we need is someone to come in and support the growth instead of coming in and continuously taking from what we already have.
You're bringing it to the community like the court came up with this idea. This was an inside job.
I am a teacher with the Chester Upland School District. Do you believe you would have got a 9-year deal if Peter Bars wasn't involved already as a receiver, but also as a fiscal officer for the nonprofit that you currently work with? Given the academic performance, it's never topped any school in this district. Yet a 9-year deal.
I do know my board, yeah, but I don't know what you. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. I really don't.
My one question, my only question is, and it's coming off of what they had said, that it's all student-based. Does anyone even ask how our students feel about this process right now?
How do you think the students in the community are impacted by this potential change?
I don't think the students are impacted one way or the other. That's not a student concern, that's an adult concern. I don't believe the students are concerned unless adults put them up to being concerned. And, you know, we're asking the same question again about this potential change. This city's been potentially changing for the last 25 years. Every year there's a change. There's an empowerment board, there's a controlment board, there's a receiver, there's this, there's that. I mean, there's nothing new to change in this district. Nothing. I mean, years ago, half the place became charterized. I mean, this is not new stuff. It's not new stuff. Hopefully you're out of tape.
So if you have a low wealth school district, which is where you tend to have more charter schools, you sometimes have a scenario where you don't have enough oversight of the charter schools. And what do we see then? We see abysmal academic outcomes. And if they're not working for children, they're actually offering them less than what they had before.
With the presentations that were given about the programs that the charter schools want to have, there's things that we're either already doing or we've asked if we could do, and we're told no. So there's probably more to it than what is publicly known.
So right now, we don't know whether or not we're going to be able to keep the program at Toby Farms for the upcoming school year because the threat of charterization is real. The students and the families don't necessarily know what to expect in September, whether or not the receiver is going to decide to hand over their schools to the charters.
So if you were to have a charter conversion, you need to do it in a way that children are prepared for it and that teachers are prepared for it. In this scenario, we have a teacher contract that will be ending at the end of June, and a decision will be made in July as to whether the charter schools will come in or not. So it's abrupt sea change for a lot of school children, and that can really undermine their ability to learn.
The uncertainty that it's thrown into, you know, everyday and long-term decisions has been pretty disruptive. Not knowing if I'm going to be in Toby Farms, not knowing what grade I would be teaching, not knowing what content I could be teaching. Me personally, I can't wait to see how things shake out. And, you know, for me personally, it means that I made the decision to go to a different school district.
You might not think that, you know, just switching an education system could cause harm. But if students aren't getting what they need, and then they're also being stripped of people in their lives that they have relationships with and that know them and who are advocates for them, I would argue to say that that's harmful. Sure, they'll find new people. I know they'll forge new relationships. There will be new advocates, but we're already, these kids are already so much at a disadvantage compared to other neighboring school districts in the same county.
It's been some incredible students and staff. Why not focus on what has worked and the team who helped to facilitate that?
The things that I have learned from mindfulness is that it helps your body calm down and it helps your body feel better.
So I want to keep doing mindfulness and keep breathing right, keep thinking.
Mindfulness helps me to be a better big sister.
Thank you to all of them for helping me when I needed help. Help for keeping me in my chair and helping me stay focused and not, being angry when I wasn't focused.
I hope Shirley does the same thing when he grows up.
I think the goal that I have for Toby Farms is that as long as the doors remain open and the students come through those doors, that we will continue to educate our students, that we will continue to build those relationships, that we will continue to support them in every fashion that we can, and that they understand that we're all in this together and that we are united, that we are #TobyStrong.